Hi everyone, it is Michelle here with prodigyghelp.com, and what I'm going to go over today is a previous video. We already spoke about how to link a child account, create a new child account, and link it with a teacher account. Now we're going to say, okay, now what? The account's been created, your child wants to log in and play, what's going to happen? So again, the website is prodigygame.com. To play, it would be prodigygame.com/play, or on that site you can just click play Prodigy, it doesn't matter. Here's a login screen. I already had my password saved. I've written down in a safe place, but I have it saved in, so I'm just going to type in the username and password, and then we're going to click log in. There we go. I don't know why that didn't work the first time. Now, I will say that depending on what time of day the kiddaroos play, there tends to be a lot of people on. So you really want to find a world, or technically a server, that the kids will be able to log into without any problem. I'm going to try to show you a bad example and then show you a good example. So we get to this page. They're going to click next. Remember that the hand on the bottom of the screen with the little blue circle is kind of like the place to go. Now there's a couple options up here. So let me just move my head. Play offline. Technically, it doesn't mean like you're going to play off the internet, because we need the internet in order for the game to work, because this is an internet-based program. Each one of these names here, plus if I click more worlds down here, represent, let's just go full screen, represent different servers or places that kids can work together and have competitions with each other. So sometimes they won't always load. So your students or children, depending if you're a teacher or a parent, can click play offline, still be able to do math problems, still be able to accrue points, coins, level up, all those things, except they won't be bogged down by being in a place where there's a lot of other characters. So it's really your choice. So for example, see how the red is filled? It's going to try to connect me to Animalia. We might be able to get in, but it looks pretty packed because all of the squares are red. So it is a little bit of a waiting game to start, but that's okay. There probably is a lot. That's probably why it's going on. Now, what Prodigy Game allows you to do is the kiddaroos will be on a path. So as we can see here, we can't connect to Animalia. I wasn't really expecting it to because of the red. But regardless of what world your child is in, they will have the exact same opportunity. The only thing that's different are the kids or the players who are playing. Now, I typically encourage my kids to go down to farther down in the alphabet, because not many people kind of go down. And then we look for areas where there's not as many boxes filled in, which means that there's not as many players playing, which clearly we were able to get into the game board by that. So don't get frustrated if you can't connect to a server. Just have your child try a different server, and they can contact their friends and say, hey, meet me in Keystone instead of whatever server they were planning on if they got bogged down. Now, I'm not going to go through the story. The story takes a couple minutes. It talks about 6 wizards who have an academy, and it kind of sets up the mood of the game. So I do highly recommend you have your children go through with it, and even sit and bond with them and watch it with them. And the reason is that we want to create buy-in with our kids. We want them to be interested in the game, and we want them to see that they play a role in this environment and in this world. And by you knowing the context of the story, you're going to be able to contribute that information to them and have a good dialogue, because this is something so unique that unless you understand the whole premise and the concept of wizards and spells and things like that, and they're good spells, they're not evil spells, they're like Glinda the Good Witch spells, it's really important to be able to have that dialogue. So I'm going to skip it. Oh, we went through most of it already. And it's going to take us to our first location. So this is Firefly Docks, I believe. And this little guy is going to introduce himself, and his name is Woot. Let me just move my head out of your way. And I have the volume turned off on mine, so you're not going to be able to hear him. I keep calling him Woot, but it's Newt. And they're going to kind of help us through. So I'm going to fast forward through the training just to kind of give you an idea. Now, here's the premise. So Grace Lifegiver is the name I created for my avatar. And right now I'm going to be battling the Scarecrow. So the way that the kids do it is they hit the attack button, which is right up here. And as again, we can see that we have this hand pointing to what we need to do. And for the first half hour, 45 minutes of gameplay, that's what we're going to continue to see, is this hand kind of dictating what to do. And as long as your kids are in Firefly Forest, which is that whole area, they'll also continue to see the hand kind of navigating them on the different quests and where that they want to go. So I'm just going to click attack. And then right now the only spell I have is Magic Shot, so I'll click that. And then it's going to prompt the question. Now this is where you are going to have to resist temptation. We're so used to coddling our kids and helping them and encouraging them and sometimes inadvertently doing the work for them that we miss this opportunity for them to challenge themselves and grow. It's really important that in the beginning 15, 20, 30 questions of Prodigy that you do that. And it all depends on the kid, so I can't say how many questions it is, because for most students, they're going to have a placement test to take. And if you're next to them and you're telling them the answers to the questions or working them with them and prompting them to do it, the computer system and the algorithms that the Prodigy developers created are not going to be able to give a true testament to what your kids need. And what's going to end up happening is your kids are going to get questions wrong, then they're going to go backwards instead of just taking the placement test, getting the right location, and then moving from there. Okay, so this is my first question. We do have to answer all the questions correctly. If we miss a question after this first battle, our spell won't have power against our enemy. So here I have a question which is a similar shape to clearly that. It's a rectangle. I'll click the appropriate shape. Oh, I'm sorry. I always forget in the tutorials we have to click next first. They're going to make us go through and listen to it. I'm going to click next because I don't feel like listening to it. There's also a hint. There's not always hints. We find that the hints typically come up the most for memberships. So I'm going to click next. I'm going to click the correct answer, and now I'm going to click go. Okay? So I just got the question correct. My Grace Life Giver just shot a spell on Scarecrow. Scarecrow lost a heart. Now, after this battle, Scarecrow will also be sending spells back. So when kids compete, like they go into the same world and they compete against each other, basically Grace Life Giver would be doing a set of questions, and then whoever the other child is would be doing questions at the child's level. So even like a first grader can play against a fifth grader, but first grader's going to get first grade questions, a fifth grader's going to get fifth grade questions, and it's all leveled out. So I'm just going to attack this little guy again, hit Magic Shot, and just kind of go from here. Now, after we go through this, the next tutorial will kind of take us through like how to use the tools. So we'll look at that coming up. I'm just going to whiz right by this. Thank you for touchscreen computers. Boom, 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 boom. We got it correct. Now here's the exciting part. So we just have defeated our first pet. I'm sorry, not our first pet, our first challenger. We're going to click the box. Now, if you have a membership, there is a membership that instead of here we earn 10 stars, instead of earning 10 stars, perhaps we would have earned 15 or 20 stars. Membership is good because typically speaking, kids are able to go faster. They like it better because the games are more engaging, but not necessarily the math is more engaging. So it's more like they have more ability to wear outfits. They can play different games and be able to go farther. So for the purposes of this video, which was just to log in and show us the first battle, I'm going to end for right now. Please feel free to follow me on YouTube, prodigyghelp.com. I'm completely supported the site just with advertisements. You won't have to pay. So please enjoy the videos. If you have any questions, definitely shoot me a message. All right, this is Michelle from prodigyghelp.com. Thanks. Bye-bye.